Hey all, John here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be going back to the beginning. So when I first started this YouTube channel, I just finished my transition away from Apple products completely, and now, of course, everything started with the iPad when I needed that for school, and then I got the MacBook Pro, and then I got the iPhone, and now I'm back on the Apple Watch. So I'm just going to show you in this video how I keep things cross-platform. So if I do ever want to switch back to my S23 Ultra, I can keep things relatively open source and this give me more flexibility. So there's three main applications in this equation. So there's SyncThing, which is basically my decentralized peer-to-peer file synchronization system. That will basically syncs my documents folder between my devices while keeping it end-to-end encrypted. So that basically think of it instead of paying Apple, let's say I still pay for iCloud, but I only pay for 50 gigs. The only thing I pay Apple for is basically to store my contacts, calendar, and I think iMessage. That's it. Other than that, everything else stays in house. So with SyncThing, it basically syncs my documents folder across my Mac, my iPad, my iPhone, the Fedora workstation, and the S23 Ultra. This keeps things all in sync. So this the main thing that's really important to me is my KeyPass database. So I don't use iCloud Keychain just because I want to feel like I'm somewhat portable and I can switch between operating systems whenever I want to without much fuss. The second app in this list is going to be Image. An alternative to this is PhotoPrism, but I prefer Image because again you have multi-user support. But think of this as a open source Google Photos equivalent. So instead of storing everything on iCloud, and of course with iCloud this is basically vendor lock-in, this is all stored in-house, powered by my TrueNAS server. I technically run this on XCPNG and then run an NFS backhaul to access my photo archive. But we're not going to get too deep into that in this introduction. And the third app that I think is most important is Imzing. Imzing allows me to back up my entire iPhone and my iPad, and then it sends it straight to my TrueNAS server. So think of this: I come home, the iPhone and the iPad connect to Wi-Fi, and of course every night the Imzing client connects over Wi-Fi to those two devices and then backs it up straight to the server. And of course, it's just like Time Machine. It backs it up every day and there's incremental backups. So at any time, if I want to go back and review, like, hey, I sent this message, can I go back and look at it? Or can I go and see some photos I deleted? Or let's say I wanted to switch to a new iPhone. All that data is local and I don't have to worry about downloading it from somewhere else. Or if I want to switch to Android, I can literally just click export and be off to Android the same day. No real fuss, especially with things like contacts and calendars, since I still store those on iCloud. But yeah, let's get started on SyncThing and we'll go from there. All right, so we're gonna start at the top. Basically, SyncThing is the core peer-to-peer file synchronization I use. Think of this as a replacement for iCloud Drive. So instead of syncing your files to Apple's cloud, you can keep everything local and just have it sync peer-to-peer. So let's say if I have my iPad, my Fedora workstation, my MacBook, all syncing, they can sync in between each other. Um, but for me, honestly, I have it set up so everything does sync back to TrueNAS, since this is technically running on top of Docker and then connects back to a data set that I have set up. So basically, of course, TrueNAS, which I've talked about in previous videos, is my central storage location for everything. If I go into the preferences for SyncThing, you'll see that again it's connected to two data sets, one for documents, one for photos. SyncThing works on your local network and across the internet. For me, I have NAT Transversal and Global Discovery turned on. So think of this as almost, I don't want to say it's like BitTorrent with the way it's peer to peer, but similar concept. Again, for me, I have encryption enabled on my setup here. So, of course, everything is not really going through plain text. It's all encrypted. The relay servers don't see any of the data that's going in between. So I don't really have to worry about, oh, I could be exposing my data to the public or something like that. No, it's secure. It's open source, so no, there's no real concerns. On the iOS devices, though, where I get somewhat annoyed is the fact that Apple's background app refresh, it likes to kill apps in the background, and bigger tasks like, let's say if I throw in like, I don't know, a 1 gig file, the iPad might not get it just because it's sleeping and it doesn't want to sync unless I open the app. But again, for the smaller things, it does check in. It's able to at least see that, hey, there's some files I want to get. You should probably open the app so I can download them. So that works out great. I think I paid like $5 for Mobius Sync. Mobius Sync is technically a wrapper for SyncThing since there's no quote unquote official SyncThing client. It's the same thing, same settings, so no real concerns there. As you can see, I have my documents. My documents is taking about 89 gigs. And of course, I have my Obsidian nodes syncing back to the NAS. Again, I've been running this for the last couple months and I haven't really had any serious issues or concerns with it. But yeah, let's move on to the next thing that's on the list. All right, so now I'm going to show you the next tool, Image. This is my self-hosted open source Google Photos. That's what I would call it. Best way to sum it up. So this is actually running on my XCPNG system. And then of course the drive for this VM is actually hosted on TrueNAS on NFS. And of course the legacy photos that are from the S23 Ultra are also connected via NFS on a separate share. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like on TrueNAS. So of course I have a data set for VDI. That's where this is. The share itself that hosts the basically the drive is right here. That's basically public. And of course the photos, legacy photos, that's where it's hosted, and I have that restricted to just these two addresses. So no one else can access it since NFS is kind of just like wide open. Yeah, just to learn, you know. But basically this is running on Ubuntu server 22.04. It's running on top of Docker. It's running the official Docker image, not the Docker IO or running Podman. Yep, SSH'd into it, and of course, there you go. That is the NFS share that is hosting this. I'm just going to show you what this looks like really briefly. There we go. So this is what my photos looks like. So of course there's a lot of random TikToks in here. But it functions just like Google Photos in a way. It's just that you're hosting all of this. So I'm just going to show you what the admin portal looks like. So you can see this has multi-user support, but the main thing that I don't like about this, I mean, it's not a big deal since it's just me, but this doesn't, at least as of right now, doesn't support HTTPS. So this is just running off of HTTP, which is unencrypted. That's fine. It's local, so I really don't care. Of course, I'm going to show you what the jobs look like. But yeah, my system is somewhat complicated just because I didn't want to import all of my old photos and have it reorganize them into a file structure I don't recognize just yet, because I think I just rolled this out about 2 weeks ago, and I've been loving it compared to Photo Prism for locally hosted stuff. I'm just going to show you what the demo looks like so I don't have to show you guys my entire photo gallery. Hopefully this will be a lot better so I can show you guys around. They used to have some photos up here, but basically this is the same thing, just a demo version. You have facial recognition, so you can organize by faces. It'll tell you, hey, there's this memory of you 2 years ago. Let's go back and look at it. You have the map here. You can technically share this out with other people, but I don't really recommend it as of right now. This person has, the official developer has SSL on his, but I don't remember if, I don't know if there's a reverse proxy or something like that going on here. There's a way to enable SSL, but it's not, I don't think it's natively supported, at least in my current version that I have. But that's really about it. I can show you what this looks like on mobile. If I can get the screen recording started here. Let's see, just getting this rolling. So image, this is what it looks like. But it's just like Google Photos. The main thing I do really like about this is that I can, after it automatically backs up, I can just delete it from device. You have the same search for your face for your facial recognition, sharing, library, all that stuff. But it works really well as of right now. It automatically backs up as soon as it sees your server. Of course, you could have this working across the internet, but for me, I prefer to just use a VPN to get back into my network and have it back up that way. That just works for me. It doesn't automatically delete the file, so you'll have to go in and check things off and delete from device, but I feel like that's okay. It is what it is, as long as it works. But yeah, that's Image for you. It's compared to PhotoPrism a lot, but I feel like Image is the better solution. It's still advancing relatively fast, so people say things can break compared to how PhotoPrism is a lot more stable right now. But yeah, we're gonna move on to Imazing, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so now I'm going to show you what Imazing does. So of course I have a data set just for Imazing. So as you can see, I have it right there. It has its own ACL for just my MacBook. And then I have the Imazing mini client that is supposed to back up my devices, I think at least once a week. So of course it sees them both on Wi-Fi. Something you have to keep in mind, since you're backing up over Wi-Fi, there are going to be times you'll have to enter in your passcode just so I think it's just another security feature that Apple has implemented. But yeah, let's open up the main Imazing client, and this is what the UI looks like. So of course you have all the options you would need: backup, restoring a backup, transfer to another device. You can manage apps. I really like this option here. For like, let's say you want to export your entire photo gallery, but keep in mind you should probably have all of your iCloud photos downloaded to your device before you run this, if you're, let's say, switch to Android, because that gets complicated. You can even make custom profiles, management profiles in here. It's really, really nice. I've known about this app for a couple of years, but I just finally bought a license since I'm trying to get away from paying Apple so much for iCloud storage. But yeah, this app, if you run this to back up your entire device, let's say your device breaks, you can easily go back, and let's say if you have to go back and read all messages or go through your phone logs, or let's say export your entire photo gallery, as long as it's all downloaded locally onto the phone, you should have no problem whatsoever. I'm not going to show you guys all the data on my device, just want to show you the general idea of how it looks like. But yeah, as you can see, these are all the apps I have. I can go through my file directories, just to it works really well. So I highly recommend this if you're trying to basically bring everything in-house and stop paying Apple so much money. But I'd say, me personally, if I wasn't a tech geek, I'd probably be doing Imazing, and same thing would be a bit much. Image is easy to host, but not everyone wants to set up a server just to host their photos. So, but yeah, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it was useful. Feel free to leave any comments if you think there's something I can talk more about or improve. But yeah, stay tuned for the next video, and I hope to see you there.